And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners for Tuesday, March 22nd. I think we convert back to our regular schedule next week, so may have caught some folks off guard with doing a Tuesday meeting. But welcome to our Tuesday, March 22nd meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In our inspirational word for the day, it is far better to do a few things well than to undertake many good works and leave them half done. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Lundy,
Here.
Commissioner Hung,
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Up first, we have a presentation this morning by the OSU Extension Office. Good morning.
Good morning. For all the folks that are watching us this morning, I am Ann Shannon. I'm the Agriculture and Natural Resources Educator with OSU Extension. I'm here with my colleague Jackie Baca, who's our 4-H educator. And it's our pleasure to be with you on National Ag Day, where we celebrate that everything we eat and much of what we wear and use is responsible for agriculture. So we have a couple of important updates that we just want to call to your attention. So some things that have been in the news, and the first is pathogenic avian flu. So we've been watching this about for the last 3 months. First reported in wild birds coming in the East Coast. And of course, Ohio lays right in the flyway between the East Coast and the Mississippi. Of more concern is the fact that this avian flu has now made its way into both backyard poultry and into commercial flocks. So with close monitoring, so this is a wonderful partnership between APHIS, which is the Animal Health Inspection Service, which is federal, the Ohio Department of Agriculture, and Ohio State. We've been providing updates, ongoing updates to our 4-H families and to community members about avian flu. And last week, we found out that we have our first confirmed case here in Ohio over in Erie County. What are we doing in response to this? Our state specialists have been putting together wonderful videos and other opportunities for folks to learn about avian flu. So the good news is we have not seen this become pathogenic to humans, but we are very concerned about our backyard poultry. So we have many folks in Lorraine County that have backyard birds, as well as our 4-H participants. And as part of our outreach through what we call Quality Assurance, which is a program that we do for all of our participants in 4-H, they're taking market animals. We provide education and outreach on biosecurity. And what is biosecurity? That's that ring of protection we place between the birds that we care about in their environment. So that's the first update, and you have a handout in your packet on avian flu, and that's just kind of examples of the materials that we are pushing out on a regular basis. The other one is another important pest. So spotted lanternfly is an invasive species, and why should we care about it? Not only does it affect an invasive tree, but more importantly, if you like wine, if you like beer, it impacts significantly grapes, hops, apples, all of our stone fruit. So you can see how it will be impacting our orchards here in the county, as well as our nursery production and backyard homeowners. So even before spotted lanternfly was found here in Lorraine County last year, we were doing outreach through our partners with the libraries, through the metro parks, to get the word out. And as part of this success story, about a month ago, I was invited along with a colleague of mine to do presentations at the Ohio Tree Care Conference. I spoke about the value of native plants. My colleague spoke on spotted lanternfly, and she left them with a challenge, that if you knew about populations of this invasive tree, to go check. The following day, an arborist from Lorraine County had picked up the phone and called me and said, I think we have a problem. I've reached out to ODA. I'm reaching out to you. Partnering with ODA, they immediately came up. We did a delimiting survey, which was to determine the extent of the problem, collected samples. It is positive for SLF here in Lorraine County as of last week. And so now we're going to redouble our efforts to do outreach once again with the Metro Parks through all of my programming and through the work of the Master Gardeners. So this is another example of where we're going to have really good outreach. You have a small card in your packet that has a QR code, and if you actually click on that QR code, that takes you directly to the ODA website for reporting. So we're asking anybody in the public, if you see this insect, to see something, say something, because it's important that we try to manage this and limit the spread so it doesn't impact our agriculture too much. And we've got a couple of other things just really quickly. This is enrollment season for 4-H, and so we encourage anyone that's interested in 4-H to reach out to us. We'd love to enroll new youth into the program. It's also the time for our Endowment Banquet, which will be this Saturday, the 26th. And this is our major fundraiser for supporting both academic and camp scholarships for youth.
Are there still tickets available, and how do we get them?
There are tickets available, and it's actually next Saturday.
Oh, is it next
Yeah,
Saturday?
April 2nd at the fairgrounds. $25, so we've got an invitation. If you want to purchase now, I have tickets, or you can call the number on the ticket as well, on your invitation.
And of course, the other thing that we're engaged with is Chick Quest, which is going to reach 40 classrooms and about 900 students. And that's through our science, technology, engineering, and math. And that teaches third graders all about embryology and biology. And we've got other things going on that we will update with you later. But we just wanted to give you this brief update on what were two really important topics, avian flu and spotted lanternfly.
And for the annual auction, where do we find that online?
So we've got it on our Facebook post, and I also have it on our website.
And so
So
the viewers can go to what?
to
LorraineCounty.osu.edu.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yeah, thanks for the update. Those are important messages. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam President, we'll go into resolutions.
Madam Clerk.
Madam Clerk.
Madam Clerk, Madam
It's okay.
President.
You've been
Like being
promoted.
You've been
president.
promoted. It's before 10 in the morning, so the coffee hasn't kicked in.
not a promotion
So,
for me,
yeah,
trust me.
there you go. Madam Clerk. There you go.
Under B, resolutions number 1, investments.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 2, appropriations.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 3, transfers.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 4, advances, repayments. There were none. Number 5, requisitions.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, let's see. I will be a no on 778, and I'm asking for a hold on 783. Do I need a motion for the hold?
Yeah, I'll second that. I actually just got this morning. I think with the Tuesday, it just puts us just a little behind. I
Came
just
up
wanna do
quickly.
a little more research on that one, 783.
Is there anything further? So Commissioner Lundy, you're a no on 778, and you would request a hold on 783.
Correct.
And then I'll request the hold on 783. Just for further research.
Is there anything further?
Any other? No? Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Travel,
So move.
Second?
discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Bills,
So move.
Second?
discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 8, authorize various personal actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of the Lorraine County Board of Commissioners. Commissioners may recess an executive session to discuss personnel, new hires, and board appointments at the conclusion of today's meeting. Number 9, approve payment for victims of domestic violence fund, Lorraine County Safe Harbor, Inc., DBA Genesis House, for the amount of $58,637 as collected by Lorraine County for the period January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 2303.201 and 3113.34 through 39, and will be paid from the Victim of Domestic Violence Allocation Account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Authorized payment of $50,000 to Lorraine County Community Development Corporation, Lorraine County Chambers 501c3 Corporation for economic development opportunities, and will be paid from the general fund allocation account.
So move.
Second?
Discussion.
I'd like to call Tony Gallo up, the Chamber Director, to give us just a brief overview. Probably that one over there, if you would, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to thank the commissioners for allowing me to be here this morning to talk about a little bit more. I think I've talked to each of you individually about what we're trying to do here, but obviously it's important for us to make sure that everybody who is interested in what we're doing with this has a chance to actually hear from the chamber and what we plan on doing as well too. I do want to apologize that Harishu from Innovation Economy Partners is unable to be here. I'm sorry, I had this down for tomorrow. I didn't realize that the date had changed, so my apologies on that, but I think I can handle it here. There was the resolution. I didn't know if you were going to read the resolution the way it was stated or not, but basically, as it states, the bottom line for this is that we're asking for funding so we can use the 501c3 to coordinate with all of our local partners and develop and implement a shared economic plan for Lorraine County. We all know that there are a lot of different organizations here in Lorraine County that are doing economic development. The Chamber being one of them, Community Development and Economic Development, which is the office right next to ours, is doing it. We have our different municipalities that are doing it as well too, but nobody's working off the same playbook. So really the idea behind this is to come up with an integrated plan that involves all the partners working together and trying to make sure that we're working in conjunction with one another for what's best for Lorraine County across the board. Really what's going to happen is we hope to come out with a shared vision that will be realized from the analysis from our key stakeholders, including our elected officials, our business leaders, our workforce development leaders, nonprofit, and our educational and philanthropic organizations here in Lorraine County. It's probably going to take anywhere from 8 to 9 months, so really in realistic terms, the rest of this year, to actually do a deep dive into everything that needs to be analyzed and get input and actually develop the playbook for this as well too. It's not cheap, it's not short, there's no really inexpensive way to do this or a quick way to do this. I was here, I've been at the Chamber for 19 years in July, and I was here when Team Lorraine County was formed to do something similar. From my recollection, they did not go into as deep of a dive to actually get as many people involved, and unfortunately, that organization did not have longevity to actually work out. My goal with this is to actually make sure that this outlives me, outlives the current commissioners, no offense on that, but everybody who's involved with it to make sure that this goes on. We are working with an organization that has done something similar in Stark County, has done something similar in Firelands to our west, and is currently working with an organization, a group of municipalities called the Aerozone, which is basically all the communities that surround and include Hopkins Airport, because they view that as being a very important economic impetus here in Northeast Ohio. The end of the shared vision, we'll have a plan. It may turn out to be a variety of different things with highlighting different things, whether it's downtown revitalizations, affordable housing, industrial commercial development, transit-oriented development. Ultimately, any and all of those options are involved with it being a major part of our job creation, job preparation, and job access here in Lorraine County, and ultimately help to benefit all of the residents as they actually will hopefully be able to build their personal capital and improve their quality of life. I liken this to what the commissioners, the chamber, and Lorraine County Community College did when Glide was formed in the early 2000s. And I also have a vague recollection of the digital economy task force when the internet was basically first introduced as to a new way of doing business, and the chamber, the college, and the commissioners were all part of that as well too. So I'm hoping that you view this in the same terms and that you are willing and able to partner with the chamber and our other partners who are helping to underwrite the cost of that, which is Team NEO and our philanthropic organizations and foundations. Any questions?
Okay. Questions? I know Dave was here when Glide was formed.
Yeah, and I wouldn't compare it to Glide, so
Okay.
That's fair.
that's why I just kind of looked down and went, well, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
you and I had our one-on-one, and
We did.
You kind of know how I feel. And,
yeah, I do, and I truly think that I hope I prove you wrong, Dave.
I hope-
That's
I want
my
you- I want
goal.
you to- I'm gonna-
My goal is to prove you wrong.
I will support you.
let's say that.
today.
Yeah.
And your goal is to prove me wrong.
My
okay?
goal is to prove you wrong.
But
Yes.
I would love to be proven wrong, which
That's-
is very
I-
rare. Yeah, please.
Okay.
I had to do that for you guys.
It's obviously his personal opinion, right? You know.
Thanks, Tony. I do appreciate your work that you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
I should say up there.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, I think anytime we can bring people together, it's a good thing, you know, because sometimes when we have discussions about economic development in the county, we find out that somebody's doing something that is an interesting idea. We also find out that maybe there's ways we can help others, but no one had asked us for the help at the time. So I think the more we can get people on the same page, and, you know, I hope that we're entering a new era of getting away from turf wars and everybody realizing that if we land the jobs in Elyria, it's just as good for Lorraine and every place else, or, you know, Avon instead of North Ridgeville, whatever the case may be, that it's good for the county
And the region.
and the region, most importantly.
Yeah.
Now the county's most important.
Most important. Okay.
I think you, Tony, you've always been very proactive, coming to see me and talk to me about what you're working on, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I definitely look forward to the day you prove Dave wrong. So I want a front row seat, so let me know.
I want to be here in 20 years.
Okay. Any other questions for Tony? No? Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Thanks for
thank you.
coming in on a Tuesday when you thought it was Wednesday.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye for Tony.
Number 11, under Children and Families Council, approve a grant of $600,000 over 3 years to help alleviate negative impacts of the pandemic for qualifying families and children by supporting the services they provide on all levels and will be paid from the ARP Other Expenses account.
So move.
Second?
Discussion.
I'd like to have the director, Chelsea Freeman, come up and explain for us the needs that are out there in the community and things that are already underway and the way that we'll be able to better serve those in need and during this pandemic.
Thank you, Commissioner Lundy. Good morning, everybody. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Chelsea Freeman, and I'm the director for the Children and Families First Council. I'm really honored to be able to be up here to represent some of the families that we're currently serving and that we will eventually serve. So I won't bore you with all of the minute details of us being a mandated entity within the county or the Ohio Revised Code, but I'll focus more on the direct practice that we do within the county. So we serve multi-system youth. Multi-system youth means that they have multiple criteria and they have complex needs. So we're essentially working with the kids that exhaust all of the current community's resources. So we're the safeguard. We're the phone call that we get from the desperate providers and desperate family members because they need help, and they need that higher level of help and access from state funding and creative planning and direct access within some of those systems. So it's no secret that the pandemic has left children and families in desperate need on all levels and all socioeconomic statuses. So it's twofold. Well, we have all of these resources because of the pandemic. It's a capacity issue. The systems were not set up to withstand some of the needs within the county, and therefore that trickle-down effect means we have more complex needs. So an increase in referrals to us. We're getting asked for consultation for issues that you cannot even imagine. I can't go into a lot of the details because we deal with some high-profile cases within the county. But we have some significant needs here in our home. This is my home. This is where I represent. And being able to stand up here and to talk to you guys today about what's really happening on the ground, it's really meaningful. These funds could have a huge impact for us. Just to give a little bit of perspective, pre-pandemic, the Children and Families First Council, we served between 15 and 30 families a year. Right now, we're projected to serve 100 families just this fiscal year, and that's within July and not even January. We have 13 families currently on the wait list. And when I talk about a wait list, I'm talking about those desperate plea phone calls. And do you know how hard it is for me to hang up on a phone call with a family member that's bawling, saying, I need help and I need help right now. And I have the ability to help, I just don't have the capacity to help. So I have to hang up that phone and put them on a wait list. We really want to decrease that wait list and increase our ability to withstand the capacity, and then advocate for some of that change on the state level to increase some of the resources for some of the systems. So thank you for being, you know me, I could sit up here and talk all day, and I know I've been given a time limit.
Can I ask you some questions? 'Cause
Of course.
When you call, when you're speaking, you're using certain words like people are on wait list, the capacity. Can you explain why somebody would call you?
So we are that
type of
threshold.
what type of
Yeah,
situation?
absolutely. So let's say we have a kiddo that has a mental health needs and developmental disability needs. Okay, so that means somebody that has a low IQ and has a dual diagnosis. So they may have depression, anxiety, bipolar depression, any of those mental health criteria. Well, a lot of those resources for DD, they don't cross over into the mental health world. And then in the mental health world, they don't necessarily service kiddos that have intellectual disabilities. So it's our job to work with all of those providers to make sure that kids are getting the resources that they need. We have the ability to access state technical assistance with all of the higher levels to consult with them for what we can do and what we can provide in the home. We have flexible funding in order to provide services inside of the home as well.
So like
That's
you're
just
like a safety net, probably a last resort when they're
Absolutely.
falling through the cracks of our government entities that can provide services. Would you consider you're that
yes.
a safety net? Okay.
Yes, and within that safety net, we've always just held such a small threshold of those kids. And now with the pandemic, there's more kids and more families that are qualifying. So while the systems are struggling, even being able to provide basic resources, we're getting channeled and asked questions and consulted even just on the prevention aspect, and that's nothing that we've ever done before.
But do you see today's resolution, how much of an impact do you think this will have on the work you have to do?
It will have a huge impact because before we've never really been a fully supported entity of the county. We've always functioned in minimum capacity. So not only do we have full buy-in from the council, we're going to have the funding to support some of those things that we are absolutely capable of doing on a macro, meso, and a micro level.
So Chelsea, thank you. You've been a joy to get to know and work with since August you started, right?
Yep.
August of 2021?
Yes.
And I've enjoyed coming to the meetings, and I know you talk a lot in the meetings about the kids you can't get to that are on the wait list. So is not, when you're talking about capacity, is this another caseworker that you
Yes.
need? Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that person will be doing?
Yes, I actually have interviews scheduled all day today, so I'm actively trying to hire and will have the ability to pay for that position. So it will be multiple positions eventually down the line.
Just getting that additional person now is going to
Yes.
just be a huge.
Yeah, so just right now, to withhold some of the referrals, because it's fair to my staff, I'm holding a full caseload. So on top of being a director, I have just as many kiddos on my caseload as my full-time family service coordinator is essentially what we call the case manager.
You know, we're fortunate right now because there's additional resources that are coming in to address the pandemic. And I know that as you've indicated, you're likely to serve as many as 100 cases this year compared to maybe 15 to 25 or something during a normal year. So, you know, anytime that we hear talk that there are people on a wait list, it's upsetting to know that we have the resources in government right now to address that, and that's why we're here today, to make sure that people aren't on a wait list, to make sure that you don't have to hang up the phone when somebody who's crying saying, sorry, the best I can do is put you on a wait list. So, and I think, you know, Dave captured it quite well, you know, being an ultimate safety net. And that's the challenge with government. Are those folks who fall through the cracks. And it's important that they have a safe landing and a soft landing, and that you help them through a very, you know, difficult time. So you're having been in meetings with you, your passion and your advocacy just is overwhelming, and I can tell you know it's at the center of your head and your heart every day. So I can't say enough about it. You know, I have confidence in you and your leadership that as a result of this additional investment, that it will be very impactful, and that we'll get people off these wait lists and make sure that they do have a safety net at the end of the day. I also wanted to point out that I think it's important to commend the Children's Services Board. The Children's Services Board did step up with an allocation of $200,000 a year over the next 3 years to support your efforts. And I know that my colleagues feel strongly about trying to match dollars when things are taking place in the community, especially with these Rescue Act funds. So in essence, we're matching those dollars. I think this board, like the Children's Services Board, certainly, you know, want regular updates. And I know that you'll keep good paperwork, keep everything organized, and we'll certainly be looking at the performance and see how things are working out. So, so I think this is a very wise investment and decision. We shouldn't have one single child on a wait list when we have the resources to address the needs in the community.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Any
Chelsea.
other comments? No?
Nope.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Under Community Development, approve and enter agreements with Lorraine County Office on Aging in the amount of $48,000, and Neighborhood Alliance in the amount of $37,500 for the Meals on Wheels program effective retroactive to September 1st, 2021, and expiring August 31st, 2023, and will be paid from the contract services account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I see some representatives from Community Development. Are you here for item 13 or also for item 12?
Okay.
Just to support? Okay. If there's anything you wanted to say on either item, certainly let us
Free to
know.
stand up.
Feel free.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning, Drake.
Drake Hopewell and Ian Berry. We both work on the community development block grant programs, which these are, this one and the next item on the agenda are two of the programs that have been sponsored and supported by the commissioners. And the state has also come back and said as of November 21 that the program can go forward. So we've got those agreements also in place. So this is the actual culmination by actually getting the contracts approved so we can get sign-offs on that. It would be, in this case, for the Meals on Wheels, we've got two providers, Lorraine County Lorraine County Office on Aging and also Neighborhood Alliance. they decided that they work together on this time and believe that there's adequate need. And it does complement, there is some supporting dollars that they were able to also bring to the table. So, do you know what the numbers are that they will be providing meals for?
Oh, for the number of clients?
Yeah.
For unduplicated clients, they've kind of split how they're going to be servicing different areas. So Lorraine County Office on Aging is focusing more on the southern part of the county, whereas Neighborhood Alliance is focusing more on the northern part of the county. So for Service Area 1, which is Lorraine County Office on Aging, is looking at 40 unduplicated clients, whereas Neighborhood Alliance is looking at 43 unduplicated clients. And that's roughly going to be 4 to 5 meals a week for these individuals that are going to be qualifying for this service.
And this is a 2-year program, actually, as well. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know Commissioner Moore had stressed about them working a little bit better together and coordinating their efforts.
Looks like they are.
Yeah, they are now, so
Yeah.
it's good. It's good to see. Okay, and then are you going to join us for the next issue as well, too? Or?
Sure can.
Okay, we'll take one at a time here then, but I know that this board made a very large investment, about $500,000 into a new kitchen, so that will help with food distribution, and I think that's a great investment. It's very upsetting when you find out how many people in this county rely on having a meal delivered to their home.
Right.
The food is a very serious issue in this county.
And the pandemic has actually even increased the amount of need. At least it made it more obvious because a number of people just don't have the contact, and a number of people that were able to support themselves have fallen on some harder times. And so this program is a lot of times might be that one point of contact per day that is given to make certain these folks are okay.
Right, yeah, that's an important part of it, very important part of it. Any other questions, comments? No?
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Number 13, approve Housing Research and Advocacy Center, DBA Fair Housing Center for Rights and Research, Cleveland, Ohio, in the amount of $18,000 as the provider of fair housing services in compliance with Community Development Program grant for program year 2021 and will be paid out of CDBG program year 21.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Gentlemen?
Welcome back.
Well, thank you. The Fair Housing Program is something that I've worked on for probably the last approximately 25 years for the city of Lorraine. And since I've been here, I've been one of the consultants within the department because of my extensive experience. But part of that experience that I've had has been working with the Fair Housing Research and Advocacy Center over in Cleveland that submitted a proposal in response to a request for proposals that the commissioners did put out again last June. And it was approved back in November, and this was the culmination, the contract that's before you. It would be to provide 2 years' worth of services on the contract side. They would be the consultants to help us work on delivering the fair housing programs and activities. They also will do fair housing complaint investigation, also landlord-tenant investigations, and then try to bring resolution in those respective areas. The other thing that they do quite extensively also is that they do an advertising and marketing campaign to get the word out and to also meet with various groups so people can understand what their fair housing rights are. And so landlord and also tenants can understand what the landlord-tenant rights are that they have and try to answer any questions that they might have. And that does come up quite a bit. And Department of Housing and Urban Development, also the state of Ohio, also recognizes that as a major area and is very, very pushy in making certain that we are doing what we need to do when it comes to providing these services to the residents of Lorraine County.
Okay. Do we engage the Lake Area Landlord Association that often and have conversations with them?
That is correct. They are definitely one of the organizations that we try to reach out and market to. There will be some marketing efforts directly to Lake Erie Landlords Association and their membership, as well as other housing advocacy groups in Lorraine County. And then we work all the way down to including specific issues where folks believe that they had their rights violated, and we try to bring resolution by working between them and the specific specific landlord to make certain we can bring resolution.
Any other questions? No? Okay, very good, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming down.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Under the engineer, number 14, advertise for bids for Peck Wadsworth Road Bridge 0668 replacement in Wellington Township. Notice to be in the Chronicle on March 28th and April 4th, and open at 2 p.m. on April 26th. Estimated construction cost is $336,100, and funds will be provided by OPWC and engineer.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 15, Amendment Resolution 21680, adopted November 3rd, 2021, approving an increase in the contract with Perk Construction in the amount of $14,008.31 for the Middle Ridge West Ridge Road intersection improvement for a new total contract of $510,310.31 due to change orders during construction. The amendment is to reflect the correct name of the company is Perk Construction, not Peck Construction.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye. Okay, next, public comment. I just have one sign up here today. Michael DiCarlo. Welcome back, Michael.
Morning, Commissioners. Michael DiCarlo, 320 Alberta Vermilion. Hope I don't start sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher to you eventually. I imagine I probably will. Coming back to the Department of Homeland Security radio system and the capabilities that the radio systems may have. They may have the ability to spy on people. They may have the ability to collect people's data. This data, which would to me would be a violation of the Fourth Amendment, which guarantees everybody's privacy. When you collect it outside of that of a warrant, when you have a warrant, you know, the court says, yes, you can spy on this person, you can surveil this person to collect data. But when the system exists without a warrant, this stuff is collecting data anyway. So by this happening, we're actually creating a condition where our citizens will be spied on by our federal government through the Department of Homeland Security. And it comes down to the money thing. And as part of my job, there was always three things. You had to shoot, you had to move, and you had to communicate. This is a communication thing that the federal government could use, possibly, to unleash IRS agents on your citizens, because they've collected all the data and know how much money they have and where they're spending it and all this stuff. If that's what you need to make sure people use their fair share or pay their fair share, that's kind of a expands the mind's ability to comprehend what the resources that government really has. Mr. President, I would ask that we could have more Ephesians at the beginning, honestly, more Ephesians.
Sure.
There's a quote also with the current events that are going on in the war. It's the very beginning of The Art of War. It's written by Sun Tzu. It says, the art of war is vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life or death, a road to either safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. Sun Tzu wrote some wonderful strategic things that I actually was able to apply in my career and came out and I'm still able to talk to you. It's a pretty good winner there. But if I would have understood that first sentence that started that whole book, I wouldn't have been so naive as a young man. Perhaps I would have been able to understand that we don't fight wars to win anymore. We only fight wars to sustain an economy so that we can have all of this. Any participation with the federal government, I would encourage you to really, really review, because you're a loser. Have to involve it in our daily lives makes us all losers. If we can't create and maintain our own system here with our own finances, without having our hat in hand saying we need more, are we really doing it the right way here? Can we push back and maybe perhaps look at, say, hey, can we do things better? And if we can, perhaps we should go into that. Again, don't have all the answers, don't really have any answers, just have more and more questions. And I think if we keep asking more questions collectively, we can come up with better answers. And I appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful week. Hope you had a good St. Patrick's Day. And it's wonderful springs here. I've actually been able to go fishing a couple times down the end of the street. Life is good.
That's good.
Thanks, Mike.
Life's always good when you get to fish.
Thank you.
Thank you. County Administrator White. Wow, he has a report for us this week. Wow.
Just come up to tell us no report.
Just really briefly, Commissioners, thank you. I just wanted to thank the Lorraine County Mayor's Association, had me out last week at their invitation to meet and speak with them, get to know those guys and the mayor's group a little bit better. And so I appreciate them having had me, and I look forward to working with them more in the future. Other than that, as you guys know, Commissioners, we have a lot going on. Just teeing it up to get ready to go in the coming weeks. We'll have a lot of good things coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Assistant County Prosecutor Dan Petticourt, I won't pick on you this week.
I don't have a report. I do have one piece of current litigation to discuss with you if you go into executive session, and also we can discuss the purchase and sale of, potential purchase and sale of public property when we go into executive session.
Okay, great, thank you. Commissioners' reports. Commissioner Moore?
Done.
None, okay, that was quick. Commissioner Hung?
I have no report today, Mr. President.
Okay, I'll try to keep mine brief as well. I'm sure you saw the front page story about the Ohio Redistricting Commission, and I just wanted to make a few comments and then run through some of the other things. But first, I think the Ohio Redistricting Commission needs to get its act together. Want to make it very clear the taxpayers of Lorraine County should not, I repeat, should not be stuck with footing the bill for a second primary because the state leaders can't get their act together. Having served in Columbus, I must sadly admit that I'm not surprised because the games in Columbus, it seems like they never stop. Most of all, the arrogance of some leaders is always on display. To engage in a standoff with the court is extremely disrespectful, but to thumb your nose at the people of Ohio who won fair and competitive districts is arrogant, pompous, and shameful. An election is not a schoolyard game. It's about our democracy and Ohioans having confidence in our voting system. This issue is also about voters losing confidence in our elected state leaders to deliver on the will of the people. A second primary, as we've learned, could cost Lorraine County $350,000 to $400,000. The legislature so far has appropriated an additional $9 million to cover cost overruns. There's no way that that will cover the bill for Ohio counties if there's a second primary. Estimates are that the price tag will be close to $25 million. And even if the state foots the whole bill, as they should, that $25 million could have been invested in Ohio's families, Ohio's businesses, and other needs instead of paying a bill because state leaders, quite candidly, couldn't act like adults and do their job. I'm elected to represent the residents in this county, and the taxpayers should not be asked to pay 1 penny for a second primary. Columbus, you couldn't get the job done. It should be on your dime, not my residents. Let's end the games and the gamesmanship and do the right thing. Deliver for the people of Ohio fair and competitive districts. In other updates for you, Keep Lorraine County Beautiful met recently. Wanted to let everybody know if you can save the date on your calendar for May 21st at 9:30. That will be the Lorraine County Beautiful Day. Hoping that organizations will contact us here at the county so that we can put you on the whole team, wanting to know what kind of projects in your community where you'd like to do a cleanup project and would like to participate. Also, I'll begin some discussions with a team that we're putting together for the possible Ukraine refugees coming to Lorraine County. You may remember after Hurricane Maria, we had put together a team of individuals to help many families transition from Puerto Rico to Lorraine County. We thought that went very well. Obviously, we learned a lot of lessons from that initiative. So we're going to run off that same playbook, if you will. It's a little bit more of a challenge, though, because of the language transition. But there's many things that you have to take into account. We were helping a lot of individuals update their resumes, put them into English, get into the Ohio Means Jobs system. Also helping a lot of individuals with English as a second language. I think the challenge this time around will be the language translators and being able to help people make the transition so that they have at least some basic English skills. I know one of our learning lessons from last time around was that obviously became a real barrier. We had some individuals we had placed into some jobs, and unfortunately it didn't work out because of the language complications. So there's work to be done there. The biggest issue always is the housing issue, and sure, some individuals may come here and end up spending some time with family when they first arrive. But I think we all know anybody that's ever extended their household to help a family or a friend that after a period of time you're hoping that they can get out on their own. And that's where the job placement and the job skills come into play. So we're just going to begin some of those discussions, with the Zoom meeting this week and see how we can put together a good plan. And then finally, had a chance to attend the fish fry at the Amherst VFW on Friday. Had a chance to have some good conversations with some folks there, and always enjoyed the Lake Erie perch one day after having the corned beef. And I believe this Friday, probably be over to Lyria Catholic. I think they're only having one fish fry this year, but that will be held on Friday. And that completes my report.
I do not have anything. Board correspondence?
Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence?
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, I would move that we go into executive session for the reasons stated by the Assistant County Prosecutor.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
So enthusiastic
Christie?
there.
Oh, well, you're campaigning.
Christie.
And the board is back in session. Motion to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Any other business come before the board? Seeing none, this meeting